Walter White and Jesse Pinkman cooked meth for the sole purpose of earning quick money when Breaking Bad started. The pair, played by Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, respectively served as the primary characters throughout all 5 seasons of the AMC series. While money was a priority, Walt's power through the growing drug empire started to emerge as the motivator. So how much did the pair make during the series, and what happened to it? Walt initially teamed up with his former student in the Breaking Bad pilot episode. With the help of Jesse, Walt used his chemistry knowledge to cook meth in the desert out of a rolling RV. The purity of Walt's meth, known as Blue Sky, resulted in very high demand. As Walt and Jesse grew their drug empire, the former took on the darker alter ego, Heisenberg. By Breaking Bad Season 3, both men decided to join Gus Fring's operation in the man's secret superlab. Once Gus was eliminated, Walt and Jesse teamed up with Mike Ehrmantraut for a brief time to use a fumigation company as a front for a new meth cook campaign. In time, Walt branched off on his own where he became aligned with Todd Alquist, Jack Welker, and the neo-Nazis, which ended up backfiring. Calculating Walt and Jesse's earnings from cooking meth during the events of the series is difficult based on a number of factors. While a hefty amount of money kept rolling in from their operations, the exact numbers weren't directly mentioned in the early stages of the series. At the start, the two men split the earnings, but Jesse had a habit of spending his money the second it reached his pocket. Walt, on the other hand, used his earnings for his cancer treatment, Hank Schrader's medical bills, Saul Goodman's fees, and a car wash for money laundering. Even his wife Skylar White used the income to clean up messes like the $621,000 needed to pay off Ted Benecke's IRS problem. That said, Season 5 revealed that Walt earned over $80 million in cash, which he kept in a storage unit. Jesse, however, was left with $5 million that Walt gave him out of guilt. Walt buried the approximate $80 million within 8 large barrels in the New Mexico desert. Jack's white supremacist gang ended up taking 7 barrels before leaving 1 for Walt. In total, the barrel was said to hold $11 million. But Walt used some of it to escape town in order to avoid being captured. He also spent some on various supplies in the months that followed before returning to Albuquerque. The proof that Walt made $80 million is given by many experts. Walt's fortune is built on the premise that he's selling his meth at the modest price of about $60 a gram. That's spelled out in the 5th season episode Hazard Pay, when Walt and his partners sell a 50-pound batch of their high-quality blue meth for $1.3 million after the commission that goes to street dealers. According to expert, $60 a gram is not at all unreasonable, especially for meth of a very high quality. The price of meth varies wildly from one part of the country to another, and from one time a year to another, depending on supplies, he added. It can go from $50 a gram to $150 a gram. It makes oil prices look stable. It's a long way from $60 for a gram of meth to the 7.55-gallon drums of cash Walt has holding $80 million. But the volumes of meth on the show are enough to produce that mountain of cash.
That's for one cook.
And the demand for the product is strong enough that Walt could move that much meth in
My
less than
supplier
a
and I
year,
came to an
especially
agreement.
given his
The methamphetamine
empire's
is free this
expansion
time.
into Eastern Europe this season. Walt was able to make such a large volume of meth because he and his partners stole 1,000 gallons of the industrial chemical methylamine from a train. After the heist, Walt's partners want to sell the chemical for $15,000 a gallon, instead of cooking it up into meth and selling it. On the black market, that's a reasonable price for the chemical. But Walt argues that if he cooks the methylamine, he and his partners can make far more money, somewhere between $300 million and $370 million. Using the retail price of $60 a gram, that means they'd have to sell between 11,000 and 13,500 pounds of meth. And as it turns out, the 1,000 gallons of methylamine they stole would produce anywhere from 10,000 to 13,000 pounds of very pure meth. According to Steve Preisler, a chemist who wrote the book Secrets of Methamphetamine Manufacture while serving time in prison on meth charges. Walt cooks almost 400 gallons of the methylamine before deciding to quit the business. He agrees to pay another drug dealer a 35% cut of his sales in return for handling the distribution. That would net Walt between $78 million to $96 million in profit, or enough to fill those 755-gallon drums with cash. This is a lot of money made just inside a year. Do like and subscribe for more videos like this.